discussion is the second series on the sharpening filters. We had seen sharpening filters have some features about its mask, about how the values of the mask will be, etc. Major thing that we had discussed about the sharpening filter is that it is a high pass filter and it will be able to detect the edges. This is one another application that sharpening filters, especially these type of masks, are used for. We had seen that four types of sharpening filters exist: gradient, which is the first derivative; Laplacian, which is the second derivative; unsharp masking; and high boost filter. So besides, there are other types like LOG, DOG, that is Laplacian of Gaussian, etc., which we may just be mentioning just to have an awareness towards the end. So what is this gradient of first derivative? We had already considered last class that the Raubert mask is just a mask, simple mask, which could be approximated for a 2 by 2 matrix. When I say it could be approximated for a 2 by 2 matrix, the first thing that comes to our mind is, why don't we approximate it as Z8 minus Z5 and Z6 minus Z5? It is reasonable, but last class we had seen that Raubert mask is not that simple, a 2 by 2 approximation. On the other hand, it goes for a cross gradient, and as a result, it goes for Z9 minus Z5 and Z8 minus Z6, and the magnitude would be Z9 minus Z5 squared plus Z8 minus Z6 squared, and the direction would be tan inverse of dou f by dou y divided by dou f by dou x, as can be seen here. Now, in many cases, you would see that we had said that the gradient or the magnitude of the gradient, instead of evaluating it as a square root, we could approximate it as a modulus, which means we are ignoring the square sign and the root sign and just putting it as modulus of this. What is the reason for this? One of the major reasons is, I think in your processor you might have seen that one of the major computationally extensive operation is using the square root. When you use the square root, a lot of the computation time is lost. As a result, it would be a good idea to approximate the magnitude of any mask for that matter in this particular form, that is just as the modulus of the difference, which is Z9 minus Z5 plus Z8 minus Z6, instead of going for the actual calculation. So this approximation is mainly for implementation. If you're doing it on a computer, definitely we are not much bothered about the resources. Then we shall go for the exact value where we will be doing square and square root operations. So this particular mask we had already considered. The next thing that we need to consider is that with this particular value, I think the value of the mask that was obtained as a result was, we said we could approximate it into this particular form, because Gx is Z9 minus Z5 and Gy is Z8 minus Z6. You would remember yesterday's class we had also considered a mask like this, which was a simple mask. Is it right? But this is a cross gradient. Please note, Raubert mask is a cross gradient mask. As a result, it works like this and like this. That is how you get the Gx as Z9 minus Z5 and Gy as Z8 minus Z6. So the actual value, as has been just mentioned, is actually the square root and the square combined, which is put like this for easy computation. So when we put the coefficients on a representation basis, it is observed that we get it as, for Z9 it is 1, Z5 it is minus 1, these two it is 0, that is Gx. So Gx is minus 1 for Z5, Z9 it is 1, Z6 and Z8 it is 0. Gy would be, for Z8 it is 1, Z6 it is minus 1, so this is 1, this is minus 1, so this is what we get for Gy. So the two masks are available. Raubert mask is good in the sense it is only a 2 by 2 mask, so it is computationally more faster, but its accuracy, because it is only a 2 by 2 mask and it uses just the cross gradient, is slightly lesser, is what has been generally observed. Anyway, finally we will make a comparison of the mask, then we will just list out some of the significant features. one is how are we going to evaluate the gradient using the Privet's mask? We know it is going to be using the expression of dou f by dou x and dou f by dou y. That was what we did for Robert mask also. Then what is special about Privet's mask? Most probably we can expect that since the previous mask was a 2 by 2 mask, what would be Privet mask? Would it be again a 2 by 2? I mentioned Robert mask is the only 2 by 2 mask which is available. So naturally Privet's mask is going to be, yes, what will it be? It will be a 3 by 3 or 2 by 2 mask. It will be a, yes, 3 by 3 mask. Is it right? So I think this also we had discussed that it is based on the central difference of neighboring pixels, and one of the major features of Privet's mask is because it is sensitive to noise. You are telling about image enhancement after edge detection. Here, even before that, we may have to apply an averaging filter. We can observe what could be the output if averaging is not done, what would be the output if averaging is done. This could be an exercise which we could easily carry out in the lab. So what is it that we are going to do? We are considering a simple example. Rather than the mask, we are just considering some values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This could be the mask values. Okay, just the values have been given. Please note these are not the original values, they are just given to make a representation. So you want to observe the central difference, which means it is going to be between x plus 1 y and x minus 1 y. Is it right? So this will be this minus this by 2 should give you this. Is it right? So that is what is going to be the expression that we are going to use, and you will see this is exactly the expression that we have used. Dou f by dou f x is f of x plus 1 y. Is it right? This is this particular element, and minus f of x minus 1 y divided by 2. I mentioned to you, though there is a division by 2 when we consider the central difference, it is considered as a factor and not involved in the mask. So your mask will be minus 1, 0, 1. Please note this is a transpose. So this will be, it is correct. Here it will be 1, here it will be minus 1, and here it will be 0. This is what is mentioned here. Is it all right? Privet's mask. Can we proceed? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next one that we are going to see is for the entire thing. Okay, we got one element. So you told us that it is a 3 by 3 mask. Now you are just giving us a value which is just going to be a column matrix, which is, of course, here it is shown as a row matrix transpose, which means it's a column matrix. So how can that be possible? You mentioned it is a 3 by 3 matrix. Please note you are going to consider the central element as the reference, and you are going to consider center, left and right points of the difference, which means another difference similar to this expression would be dou f by dou x would be f into x plus 1 y minus 1 minus f x minus 1 y minus 1 divided by 2. This is another expression that you would get for left side. Is it right? Similarly, for the right side, you would get a similar expression which is going to be f of x plus 1 y plus 1 minus f of x minus 1 y plus 1 divided by 2, which means again you will get here 1, here minus 1, and here it would be 0. Of course, as you mentioned, there may be a by 2 term. We are usually ignoring this term because in difference the constant does not carry much weight. As a result, you would see all the three values are written. Dou f by dou x is written for the central element here, that is 1, 0, 1, which has been got here. Similarly, for this particular left case, it is the same thing. F of x plus 1 y minus 1 minus f of x minus 1 y minus 1 by 2. So this is 1 and this is minus 1. Similarly, for the right case also it is f of x plus 1 y plus 1 minus f of x minus 1 y plus 1. So this gives you 1 minus 1. Right? Is it okay? So this is the first base of the Privet mask, which tells us that we are getting a value as in the first row it is all minus ones, next row it is all zeros, and in the next row it is all ones. Actually, it is not to be read that way. As I mentioned, we need to read it this way because it is this versus this, and this element is not involved in the difference. We are trying to get the central difference, which is going to be this particular value. Is it okay? So what would be the next possibility is, naturally we need to find my. You can see my is almost visible also. What would be the value of my? Let us go on to see how it could be evaluated. In order to evaluate my, we will be using a similar concept. We would be going in for considering this particular condition. So here we will be considering this as dou f by dou y would be f into x y plus 1 minus f x y minus 1. This is y plus 1, this is y minus 1. So we have got a difference. Remember, x is constant. You would remember when we talked about a 1D difference, we had said that the 1D difference is f of y plus 1 minus f of y minus 1. When it becomes a 2D, the other parameter is constant. That is what you can see here. So this is what is going to be observed. So the value is going to be minus 1, 0 and 1. That is exactly what we have written here in my as minus 1, 0 and 1. This is what is going to be for the central element. Fine, we have got for that element. So is only those three values that are going to be involved. In that case, we would not be getting a 3 by 3 mask. So in order to convert it into a 3 by 3 mask, what should we do? Naturally, it is very clear what we need to do. Just like what we did in our previous case, consider the difference between these two as well as the difference between these two, right? So if we are going to consider the difference between Z9 and Z7, so this would be x plus 1 y plus 1 and this would be x plus 1 y minus 1. As can be seen here, the expression will be dou f by dou y f. Okay, this would become x plus 1, this would become y plus 1, this would become x plus 1, this would become y minus 1, and sorry, this would become y plus 1 and this would become by 2. So this is minus 1, 0 and 2. The same value you will be getting. Is it correct? The same thing could be repeated for the last case, that is the top row, or what you call x minus 1 row. So when you consider for the x minus 1 row, the expression would be f into x minus 1 row y minus 1 y plus 1 minus f x minus 1 y minus 1 by 2, resulting in minus 1, 0 and 1. So we have obtained mx and my respectively for the Privets mask, and both of them are usually obtained after a prior pre-processing through the average filtering. Next, what is going to be our next mask? The next mask is a Sobel's mask. Sobel's mask is also working on the central difference formula, but only difference is that for smoothing, as I had mentioned last class, we would be giving a factor of 2 for the central element, or it would be considered that the central element is considered twice in order to include that element. Another advantage of Sobel's mask is it could work as a separable filter, which means it could be split out into a vertical edge and a horizontal edge. Okay. So, as has been mentioned, it is based on the central difference of neighboring pixels. So it is almost similar to the Privet mask, only a small difference exists, and its approximation is based on the first Gaussian derivative, which we have already seen, dou f by dou x. So what happens in this particular case? In this particular case, please note, I have specifically put for this particular region as we have got Z2, Z5 and Z8 as a difference element. So what has been considered here is directly the gradient has been shown, which means this gradient is for dou f by dou x and this particular gradient is for dou f by dou y. Let us try to get the gradient for the dou f by dou x as has been shown here. So what happens to dou f by dou y? Sorry, dou f by dou x. For dou f by dou x, we would like to obtain this as z7 minus z 1. Okay, that is all right. Z7 minus Z1. Then here we would like to put it as Z9, okay, minus Z3. So that also is fine. And these two terms, as I mentioned, either we could consider the central difference, or instead of just considering it as Z8 minus Z2, we are multiplying it by a constant 2Z8 minus 2Z2. So there is not going to be any change in the difference. As has been mentioned, 2 could be considered as a smoothing factor for getting better results, and this is also more effective because it is more robust to noise. So this particular method of multiplying a constant could be considered as a better way noise. Of course, one more doubt may also exist. Should we only multiply 2? Can we try to multiply larger values like 3, 5, etc.? Because any term is okay. A constant could be anything. Generally, only a minimum value is considered. That is why 2 is considered. And we do not go for higher values. If applications demand, we could increase it and see its response. So the same thing could be seen for the other set of values, wherein you could see that for y set of operations, or dou f by dou y would be z3 minus z1, is it right, on one side, and this would be z9 minus z7. Purposely I didn't mention about the central element. The reason being, the central element I'm going to consider as 2z6 and 2z4. So what has been considered is, it is going to be z3 plus 2z6 plus z9 minus z1 plus 2z4 plus z7, which will give you the same dou f by dou y. Similarly, for dou f by dou x also, though we have considered it individually, this would be z7 since it's the central element. This is 2 into z8, it is shown in blue color, plus z9 minus z1, not z2, it is 2z2 plus z3. This would be the value of dou f. Is it fine? So as a result, you will see mx is going to appear like this. That is, here you will be having this as z7 is 1, z8 is 2, z9 is 1, z1, z2, z3 are respectively minus 1, minus 2 and minus 1, as can be seen from here. Similarly, my would be in a similar definition. It would have values on this side. So what here also we have seen the same difference. We have seen already my value has been already obtained. We have discussed this particular case where we have said it's the difference of this set of values minus this set of values, which results in my would be, here this would be 1, 2, 1, and here it would be minus 1, minus 2 and minus. In this space, we have considered three specific masks, namely the Robert mask, the Prewitt mask, and the Sobel's mask. Now let us go on to see what is this basic edge detection and how the edge detection needs to be done. Is it more effective than the basic smoothing? I think in our previous discussion itself we have seen edge detection is more effective, and only problem that we are going to consider is that what if there is no change in the edge? Could we have such images also? So we may also have such cases, so we may need to go in for some thresholding to see whether a particular image has edge or not. But generally any image will have a small transition, which means a small edge variation could at least be seen. So thus we can say that the edge detection operators are basically based on getting an information about the relationship of the pixel with its neighbors, either as central difference or as cross gradient, as has been seen in the three masks that we have just discussed now. And when we saw the central difference, we also saw in the mask we could also have it just as a horizontal mask or as a vertical mask, where it could exist only as one component of mx or as one component of my. And this was one of the major problems that I was repeatedly mentioning, that if all the values of the pixels are going to be the same, that means that there is no edge around that point. So can we shift the point? We may shift the point, but throughout the image itself, if you see such a case, then does it indicate that there is no edge around the entire image. Can we come to some such conclusion? Is it okay? I suggest that for the the edge detection, you can either take an example of face detection, because anyway you will get some edges. You know your eyes are in a shallow place than your face, then your nose is protruding out, things like that. So as a result, you will be getting some edges, or you take some examples like I was mentioning previous class about self-driving cars on roads, where definitely a road cannot be continuously straight. At some point it has to turn. When it has to turn, it has to take curves, or even it has to take some right curve, or what you call right turn or left turn. You will see that some edges has to be detected. So for such applications, preferably edge detection. And this is one of the major applications of edge detection operators, that many times they are used as along with convolution mask, which means they function as a convolution mask resulting in a filter, and they are based on discrete approximations of differential operators. And when they are based on a discrete approximation of differential operators, you will see that there will be a small variation compared to your actual calculation. Actually, that discrete approximation, we are going to try working it out today's lab for separable filters and the actual filter. So you will see that when we make discrete approximations, small variations do exist compared to the continuous value. And generally, most of us are aware that the differential operators are measuring a change in a function. That's what we mean by dou f by dou x. What is that f? F indicates brightness. Is it correct? Now, some of you may also ask, can I convert it to darkness? Yes, you can convert the whole thing into darkness by inverting the image and saying that you are trying to detect darkness. There are various methods of converting the same problem into something else in image processing just by applying some basic operations for the basic image. So in a basic case, the differential operator f, that is dou f by dou x or dou f by dou y. What is this f? You know, in mathematics, f could be x squared plus 3x plus 5, or some variable on x, or some variable with x and y, because you have x and y in this case. But here it basically measures the brightness of the image. The major steps which I wanted to mention, that is, what are the various steps that we are going to consider in edge detection. So the first step is filtering. Generally, we would like to filter the image before finding out even the edge. This is what is done in Rivet's edge detection to smoothen the edge detection. After that, after finding the edge, we would like to enhance the pixels by using an enhancement filter or some enhancement technique. These two processes we are not going to discuss at present. We will discuss after the discussion on the sharpening filters. One is, how do we identify the edges? We have found out some values. We have got some 1s and 2s. This many 1s are there, this many 2s are there, etc. We will be applying some thresholding algorithm, which means, let us say that if it is less than 6, we say that it is going to be a edge, or if the difference is less than 5, we say that it is going to be another edge. Some such variation could be done. Actually, this was one of the applications which we had carried out when we wanted to. I will discuss that application towards the end of this. One simple thresholding, binary thresholding only we had used to compare only with two values. So different types of thresholding could be done. That is why I said this we will consider it after we finish the various edges and various sharpening filters. And localization is another process that we need to do in edge detection in order to identify the edge correctly, and more importantly, the edge orientation or the edge direction is required for us, and for this we would like to go in for localization. So the detection and localization methods we will go after we complete the various edge detection methods. Actually, even enhancement, the entire work we would consider it as a problem. I would say preferably in the lab where we could do it. Detection and localization we will consider it as a process, and we will try to implement it not just as a mask, we will also add to the mask, we will add the entire process and see whether the edge detection is happening correctly. So when we talk about edges, what type of edges exist? It is something similar to what we had considered in signals. The basic signal has got a step signal, a ramp signal, etc. So similar to that, here also you will see that the variation in intensity could be step, which means it may jump from 0 to 5, then we call it a step. We could call it this as roof because it's going up and coming down. This would be ramp if it has only one region. I think in our intensity profile discussion in yesterday's class, we have already considered the edges, though we had not specifically mentioned them as edge. And this would be a line edge, which is not necessarily a straight line. It could be a small curve because between two small points, that curve would be so minimal that we can easily approximate it to a straight line. And naturally, if any of these get added with noise, you would see that it is not at all clear. So it's difficult for you to say whether this is a step or whether this is a ramp. This is where the role of noise becomes very significant because we would like to identify whether it is a step, roof, definitely not a roof, maybe even a ramp because it could be like this also. For that it has got a noise, that also we are not sure. Or it could be even a line where again the variation is something like this which could not be detected. So these are the basic four types of edges, out of which I think the step edge and the ramp edge we have also considered in the discussion of our intensity profile yesterday's class. So as we conclude the first order derivative, we will see that there are some things which have some limitations in this particular first order derivative. One such problem is that they can be used to reduce noise because that's what we said, it's a high pass filter. It could be used to reduce the high frequency noise. And another problem that is happening is when we apply the mask to certain images, what happens is certain type of mask result in larger thickness than is expected. This is the best case that has been observed for a Sobel's operator where the edge thickness is increased. And actually we do have methods for reducing the thickness. I think I mentioned we will be later going on for morphological operators where we could see that the thickness of the pixel, if it is more than one, it could be easily reduced. But because of this, the localization may not happen properly. So suggestion that could be considered is that when we apply the Sobel's mask, it is better that we apply pre-processing, I call it as a pre-processing or a technique in order to reduce the thickness back to 1. Please note, it has been mentioned that after the Sobel's edge detection process, the pixels become several pixels wide. So can we reduce the width of the pixels? Is it right? If we don't do it, the localization is also going to turn out erroneous. I mentioned the process for reducing the thickness of the pixels similar to what you do in dilation and erosion. It is called thickness and thinness property, which we will be considering during our morphological operators. And naturally, Roberts operator is not a very popular one. We had already discussed it is highly sensitive to noise. In addition, it is also a 2 by 2 mask, which makes it slightly unpopular because the computation effectiveness is reduced because it is going to work only as a 2 by 2 mask. So, though the edge detection is higher or the thickness is higher in Sobel's operator, we generally see that it's more robust to noise. And I think yesterday's class also I mentioned Sobel's operator is one of the most popular edge detectors compared to Roberts or Previtz. But there are some applications where you might get better results in Robert mask or with Previtz mask, or what we call Robert operator or with Previtt operator. So in case the filters are affected by noise, we can, or the edge detectors are affected by noise, we can use filters, and we had already considered. So next we will go on to the second order difference or second order derivative filter. For that we will discuss the basic second order derivative of a 1D function given by f of x, which is given by dou squared f by dou x squared, which is fx1 plus fx minus 1 minus 2 fx. You would recall that this is the second order derivative. We had already discussed again in yesterday's class that this would be the second order derivative. So when we construct for a 2D, that is called as a Laplacian, and the expression is going to be Laplacian operator, which is going to be non-linear, is going to be dou squared f xy divided by dou x squared plus dou squared f xy divided by dou y squared. This is the expression that we will be required to evaluate in order to get the Laplacian mask, or if we are to apply the second order derivative as a sharpening filter. Is it okay? So we have given by f of x plus 1 plus f of x minus 1 minus 2 fx, giving us this particular result. What happens to the result? So just now we have seen that dou squared f by dou x squared is fx plus 1 plus fx minus 1 minus 2 fx. So dou squared f by dou x squared for a 2D would be fx plus 1 y. You know now how it is going to be represented. Everywhere, in addition to x plus 1, you will be adding the variable y so that it becomes equivalent to a fixed y, because y is not going to be basically contributing to the differentiation. Is it right? Just like what we have seen for the central difference. Same thing we have done here. We have just added y everywhere to what was available for a 1D, so that we are calling it as a 2D. Similarly, what would be dou squared f by dou y squared? It will be on similar grounds. You will have x, y plus 1 plus f, x, y minus 1 minus 2 fxy. So dou squared f by dou y squared on similar grounds is going to be, here it becomes y plus 1 and here it becomes y minus 1, equivalent to these two terms, and minus 2 fx becomes minus 2 fxy, and another constant which is brought in is the constant x, which is present without any variation. So please note, the Laplacian states that we need to put the Laplacian mask as sum of these two. So by now I think most of us are familiar. What would be x plus 1y? X plus 1y would be this, so this is 1, right? X minus 1y would be this. Similarly, x, y plus 1 would be this particular value, and x, y minus 1 would be this value, and xy would be minus 4, which is available here. Check the constant sum of the mask is going to be equal to 0. This is what the sharpening filter's first statement was. Sum of the mask weight is going to be equal to 0. Some books you will also see the Laplacian has got diagonal elements also, giving it a 8 point. In that case, this will become minus 8. So this is the basic expression of the Laplacian mask. And another form of the Laplacian mask is by using a 8 point, you may get at these 2 points also 1, 1. In other words, the 4-point neighborhood which we were talking about now becomes the 8-point neighborhood with diagonals included. Is it right? So one of the advantages of Laplacian mask is that since it is a second derivative, it would easily capture slowly varying brightnesses, slowly varying changes. And just like the other one, here also it can detect the gray level discontinuities in an image. The question remains whether we should go for a first order derivative or should we go for a second order derivative for detecting the edges. If image edge detection is given, naturally the image is also given as a reference. So one option is You could try for a Laplacian, but Laplacian's one major problem that is considered is it is computationally more extensive because it uses dou squared f by dou x squared, and also sometimes it may result in overdoing the problem because only a first derivative may be necessary. Then it may be sufficient to start with the first derivative type of mask, and if we do not get sufficient results, perhaps we could move in for other type of second derivative mask like Laplacian. And already we are aware that the Laplacian mask has got variants in the form of Laplacian of Gaussian, etc., which also could be considered.